Most men's dating advice is level 1, and although there are some good fundamentals to be aware of, it's not really going to get you anywhere unless you understand the next level to this. And so some level 1 men's dating advice is to brush your teeth, wear some nice clothes and stand tall. So if you can imagine a guy's brushed his teeth, he's wearing some nice clothes, he's standing tall, is he going to get results with women? It's not going to happen. There is more to this, and another level 1 men's dating advice is to not double text a woman. So if you send her a text, don't send another one unless she replies. If she doesn't reply and you send another one, you're double texting and then you're needy. Well, when you understand what I'm going to teach you in this video, you can double text a woman and she'll still want you anyway. You can not be standing tall and you can be slouching a bit and being chill and she'll want you anyway. So let's help you skip past the level 1 men's dating advice and get to level 2, where women really want you. They are so much more interested in you, they're so much more friendly and open, and they want something to happen between you and them. Number 1, stop trying to impress women and start triggering attraction. If you want a woman to want you, it seems like a logical thing to do to try to be as impressive as possible, so she then gives you a chance. Yet, if a woman gets the sense that a guy is trying hard to impress her, or he feels like he needs to really try hard to impress her to get a chance, then she sees him as lower value, and therefore she isn't as interested. Women want to feel like they're trading up rather than trading down when they select a man. So the guys who get results and understand this level 2 knowledge just focus on triggering the woman's attraction rather than trying to impress her. And for a guy who doesn't understand how to trigger attraction inside of a woman, he will look at one of these guys interact with women and not know what the heck has just happened. The guy's walked up to her or he's joined the group and suddenly the woman likes him based on how he's behaving. He's said something, he's talking to her in a certain way, he's looking at her in a certain way, he's making a certain type of eye contact, he's bringing a certain type of vibe and energy into the interaction that is triggering the woman's attraction. And you don't have to do all of those things, but what I just mentioned there are many ways that a guy can trigger attraction inside of women. If a guy just does one of those, for example, he enters a group situation and the way that he's making eye contact with the girl is creating a private understanding between him and her that they are finding each other attractive and he likes her, she likes him, then that's something that will make her focus on him and be attracted to him. And for example, if a guy is on a date with a woman and he's trying to make eye contact with her, he's using that level 1 dating advice of don't break eye contact first, make her look away first. That'll show her that you're strong. If he's trying to do that, he can come across as too intense, as trying too hard, as seeming awkward. His energy can seem off. But a guy who is at a higher level than that doesn't need to be proving to the woman that he's strong by making sure that she looks away first. Instead, he's just the stronger one. That's it. And if I make eye contact with her and I happen to look away first, I'm still stronger than her. And it's not that level 1 thing of like, I need to prove to a woman that I'm strong. No, I am strong. I'll give you another example of how to trigger attraction in point number 3. For now, let's move on to point number 2. Something that you need to understand is that most women need to be activated. So don't just wait and hope that something will happen. Most women go through their life and they're in off mode in terms of whether they instantly want to have sex. They're walking around in off mode, but most men are walking around in on mode. And they can look at women and instantly say, yep, I'd have sex with her. Yep, I want to be with her. And for some guys, they'll say, I want her as a girlfriend or I'd marry her. They'll think that right away and they'll imagine having sex with her. They'll want to have sex with her right away. Yet, although there are some women who go through life in on mode and they're very horny, most women go through life in off mode and they need to be activated. So that means you have to actually do something to trigger the woman's attraction for you, and then she switches on. Once you've switched her attraction on, she's looking at you as a sexual and romantic option. But if you're going through your life just hoping that something will happen or women will suddenly change one day and they'll start coming onto you, then you're going to be wasting your life. And if you get into a relationship with a woman and after the initial lust has died down and it moves to the next phase of the relationship and she stops initiating as much, or stops coming and hugging you and stops showing as much physical interest, if you don't know how to trigger her attraction and turn her on by just doing very simple things and are hoping that she's going to be coming to you and are feeling a bit bitter about it, a bit resentful, a bit annoyed and frustrated that she seems to be drifting away, then she's going to continue to drift away. You're going to drift apart in the relationship, because at that point in the relationship, you need to be competent at triggering the woman's attraction so she continues to feel drawn to you. You've passed the easy part of the relationship where the initial lust and novelty is driving most of it for you. When you get past that, you've got to be competent at triggering the woman's attraction. Otherwise, she will just be neutral towards you. And if she notices that you're starting to feel a bit annoyed by that, or if you bring it up and you're annoyed about it, or you seem insecure, or you're just trying to get some sort of reaction from her. For example, some guys at that point in the relationship will start annoying their woman just to get some sort of reaction out of her. They'll essentially be pestering her or annoying her to try to get something from her. And that's not going to make her feel attracted. It's just going to make her close up and start to lose respect and attraction for him. And if it continues on, she's going to fall out of love with him. And for the guys watching who may not understand how it could be possible for women to be going through life in off mode when men are in on mode in terms of readiness to have sex and the desire to try to find someone to have sex with, here is some of the science behind it. The biggest difference between the male and female brain is that the area dedicated to sexual pursuit is 2.5 times larger in a male brain compared to a female brain. So that means that men are physically wired to be the ones who are trying to pursue sex. It's not women's role to go around trying to find someone to have sex with. They are literally in a much more toned down version of sexual desire in terms of readiness to have sex right away with pretty much any half-decent man. But men can walk around looking at women and just be saying, yep, I'd have sex with her, and so on. Likewise, men have a lot more testosterone than women, and it causes men to be on the lookout for fertile mates, right? So the amount of testosterone you have makes you hornier and makes you want to find a woman to plant your seed in. That's what it's driving you to do. And it was found that when women were put on testosterone replacement therapy and they had higher levels of testosterone as a result, they then wanted more sex and they started to masturbate more. So the fact that you have higher testosterone than women results in you being in on mode and being more ready and willing to have sex compared to a woman who is generally going to be in off mode or a much more toned down version of sexual desire, of sexual readiness and willingness. But she can be turned on, right? So when you're a single guy and dating, it's very important that you understand that most women need to be activated. You can't go through your life hoping that women are going to start coming onto you for no reason. Or if you make yourself look as good as possible, the prettiest women, the ones that you really want, they're going to start coming onto you. But for the guys watching who have done that, who've made themselves look as good as possible, you know that that does not happen. It can happen with average to below average looking women, but with the pretty women, the very attractive women, they don't do that. In a very small percentage of cases, a guy can get lucky, but for the most part, the pretty women, the attractive women, they will wait for a guy to interact with them and activate their attraction and then move things forward, rather than him standing there looking pretty, so to speak, and hoping that she's going to come over and say, oh, wow, hi, how are you? Can I take you out sometime? Have you got a girlfriend? Can I get your number? It's just not going to happen, right? So don't be one of the guys who go through their life making the mistake of thinking that women are the same as men. They're not, right? And most guys go through their life and they feel like women don't want them because women seem to be in that off mode, right? They're walking past and women don't look at them, right? But when they're walking along and they see a woman, they're looking at her, right? They're checking her out. But when they're walking past women, women are just like walking along blasé, right? They don't care. They're not paying attention. And he's thinking, well, I'm not good looking enough. Or maybe I need to become really rich or something and then girls are going to like me. He doesn't realize that if he just activated the woman by interacting with her and triggering her attraction, she would switch on and then he would have an opportunity with her. Most guys don't realize that. So they don't realize all of the opportunities around them. They see these women who are in off mode And they assume that, oh, well, women don't react to me with attraction, so they don't like me. He doesn't understand that they require activation in almost all cases. Number 3, getting along with a woman is not the same as attracting her. Many guys make the mistake of thinking that being nice to a woman and getting along with her is creating attraction, right? That's what he's got to do. He's just essentially got to get along with her. And I've been helping guys with women for over 20 years, and so many guys have come to me over the years saying things like, I was talking to a woman for an hour or 2 hours when I first met her, or I went on a date with her and she was talking, she was laughing, and she was doing most of the talking. Right, I'm a good listener, so I asked her a lot of questions and she was doing a lot of talking. We were getting along, but at the end of the date, she said that she didn't feel a spark. Or when he tried to move in for a kiss, she turned away. Or when he sent her a text to arrange another date, she said, I don't think it would work out between us. Or you seem like a nice guy, or you seem like a good guy, but I wasn't feeling a spark. Something like that. A lot of guys don't realize where they're going wrong with that. And they end up losing opportunities with women who would have had sex or a relationship with them, but the guy was just getting along with her, which is different to attracting her. Right? So it's good to be a good guy and get along with women, fantastic, but it's not the same as triggering their attraction. Right? So, for example, when talking to women, most guys seek approval rather than being self-approving. So, for example, if a guy is someone who seeks women's approval, then if he's on a date with a woman and she's not showing him a lot of obvious interest and she seems kind of neutral towards him, he will start to panic. He will start to feel insecure. He will start to doubt himself because he's not a self-approving guy. He can only feel like he is good enough if the woman is making it obvious that she really likes him and that he is good enough. And a self-approving guy will not panic in those moments because he's already approved of himself, right? He's not seeking her approval of himself as a good enough guy. He already sees himself as good enough. And as a result, that triggers the woman's attraction because she senses confidence, emotional security, emotional independence, right? He's not a needy guy. She also senses that he's secure in his masculinity, in that he doesn't feel like he needs to be less than around a woman or weaker than her, or that, she has all the power, or it's a bad thing to be a man. Instead, he is comfortable with his masculinity. And there are so many more non-physical traits that are being displayed in a moment like that and sensed, but they're triggering attraction. Whereas when a guy's seeking her approval and he starts to panic and worry if she's being neutral and then tries harder to impress her, or he starts to seem uncomfortable, sort of be fidgeting and, moving in his chair or looking at her with worried type of eye contact of like, is this girl losing interest in me? If she's sensing that, she feels turned off by it because it displays so many unattractive non-physical traits. Emotional dependence, meaning neediness. Insecurity when it comes to his masculinity. He doesn't feel comfortable being a man around a woman. He doesn't yet know how to be a man around a woman. And it just feels tense and awkward for her. So it's not going to be something that is attracting her to him. It's going to be something that is repelling her. And when it comes to getting along with a woman on a date, for example, so many guys have told me that they've had long dates with women where the woman was doing all the talking. And then at the end, she said she just saw him as a friend and he was confused. Because, for example, the man can be getting along with her and asking her lots of questions, and she can be doing lots of talking, but she can be sensing that he's trying to impress her. So he can hopefully be given the tick of approval, that she'll give him a chance. Or she can sense that he's just asking her a lot of questions, but it seems more like a friendly type of conversation in that they're just getting along, right? He's asking her what her hobbies are or what she does for a living and how long she's done that and why she decided to do that. And they're having a good conversation about it. And she's enjoying expressing herself and talking about herself like most people do. They like to talk about themselves and they like when someone's showing some interest in them. But what's really important to understand is that it's different to triggering her attraction. This is something that I had to figure out myself because I wasn't getting results with women. Right? I was talking to women and I was getting along with them and they then would tell me that they weren't interested or sorry, I don't give out my phone number. And that was confusing to me. So I had to figure it out. But when I started to figure out how to attract women, I went from having no options with women to having too many options with women, because that is what happens when you know how to trigger attraction inside of women. Most guys don't know how to do it. So when you're a guy who actually understands how to trigger attraction, women get excited around you. They really want to be with you. And it's not just me who has experienced this, by the way. If you don't know, I run the Master Attraction community, and I have members from all across the world, and they are getting the same results that I got, because attraction always works the same way. When you understand how to trigger attraction inside of women, they want you. But if you're just trying to get along with women, that can be great. You can have a nice conversation with them, but then they're going to say, sorry, I just see you as a friend, or sorry, I don't give out my number, or sorry, I'm not looking for a boyfriend right now, or something like that, because they're not feeling attracted, which is different to just getting along with her. Number 4, women use confidence tests to screen out the wrong men. For example, she may test a guy's level of confidence by not showing a lot of interest initially, unless he can handle a bit of pressure first. Pressure like her seeming neutral towards him, or making it seem as though she thinks he's a bit weird. So for example, she's making some faces to put a bit of pressure on him in the moment. How is he going to handle that? Is he confident enough to handle that? Or can he only handle being around a woman who is being nice and reassuring him of her interest? If he can't handle her making a bit of a face, then she feels like he probably won't be able to handle being in a relationship with her, unless she is nice and reassuring of her interest all the time. So it feels like she would have to fake being nice and reassuring all the time in order to make him feel confident enough, in order to make him feel okay. As a result, she closes up. And it's not just confidence tests. Women also use interest tests. So a woman will be showing some interest in a guy, and then she'll pull back some interest to see if he's going to continue. Right? Does he actually like her, or is he just trying to get laid? And she'll be opening herself up to a guy who doesn't even really like her as a person, but just likes her boobs or her butt, right? Or her hips. And he's just like, yeah, I'd like to do her. I'd like to have sex with her. Right? He's just feeling that. Does he actually want her more than just that? Does he actually want her enough? Does he actually find her physically attractive enough to continue if she doesn't always show a lot of interest? And that can be during an initial conversation. It can be on a date. It can be on a second date. It can be via text where she doesn't reply to one of his texts, or she doesn't show much interest in her reply. And so, for example, over the years, so many guys have told me and shown me texts between themselves and girls where the woman has said something and then he just stops texting her because he felt like she wasn't showing enough interest. But I could see that she was texting back and forth with him. She was interested. She was saying all sorts of things that showed interest. And then she just didn't show interest in that text. And then he got butthurt about her, or he started to become insecure. And then he gave up. And it's like, why are you giving up at that point? The woman is interested. If she wasn't interested and he was just texting her text after text and she wasn't replying, then okay, that woman is not interested. Give up. Move on. Right? But if the woman is replying back and forth and she's showing some interest and she then doesn't show interest in 1 or 2 texts in a row, don't just give up and say, well, oh, she doesn't like me, or, she's not showing enough interest. If she wants to be with me, then she's going to need to make it obvious all the time. Well, she doesn't want to do that because she doesn't want to get herself into a relationship with a guy who's going to be insecure like that. Where in a relationship, if she's not showing full interest all the time, he's going to start becoming emotionally sensitive. And that's not going to be fun. So it's important to understand that women use those tests, and it's not something to get butthurt about or stamp one's feet about and say, things should change. Women should stop doing that. They're not going to stop doing it because they need to find a man who is confident, or ideally a man who's more confident than them. So they're not going to stop testing for confidence. And what you need to do as a man is become emotionally strong and understand that the tests that women put you through are an opportunity for you to level up as a man and become stronger, right? If you could handle a woman's tests and not be rattled by it, you become stronger emotionally. And not only does that feel better for yourself, because you're not this emotionally sensitive guy who needs things to be nice and reassuring all the time in order for you to feel okay. Not only do you feel better, but women feel more attracted to you and men respect you more. So it's actually a benefit to you that women test you in this way. Most guys don't know how to pass the tests and they get rejected as a result, or they end up becoming emotionally sensitive, or They avoid women because they think, it's just too difficult, or I'm going to avoid women and teach them a lesson and show that I'm not interested unless they are really nice and reassuring all the time. Well, a guy like that often doesn't realize that if he's trying to show that he's not interested and he's just doing his own thing, then another guy will happily step in and have sex or a relationship with her just like that. And women aren't going to be taught a lesson and change their fundamental instinct of attraction and what they're looking for just because a small percentage of men are saying, well, it's not fair that women test men's confidence, or it's not fair that women test men's interest. You just have to become emotionally stronger. And when you do, women become so much easier because they feel so much more attraction for you. They respect you so much more. And they know that you're one of the rare guys that can actually handle the confidence tests and not become emotionally sensitive or butthurt and then give up and walk away, right? You're a guy who's emotionally strong, and nothing that a woman says or does is going to rattle you. Number 5, there's a fast way to get results with women and many slow ways. So for example, when a guy is not getting results with women, he may think, all right, well, I'll try to become successful in life first. And if I then become successful, women are going to like me. But that's a very slow approach to take. And if he does actually become very successful in life and he's one of the 1.1% of the adult population who are millionaires, then he'll have the problem of, well, hang on, does she like me for me or my money? And if a guy's in that situation, it's going to cause trust issues and insecurities in his relationships with women. Another approach that some guys try to use is to look as good as possible. And that can definitely improve a guy's attractiveness, but it's a slow way to get results with women. For example, he may spend years in the gym and he looks a lot better as a result, but he's comparing himself to other guys in the gym who are massive. There's that meme, for example, of the guy who worked out for a long time to look like what he said is just a normal guy, even though he looked a lot better. But he was comparing himself to the other big men in the gym. And so sometimes a guy will end up putting in a lot of effort to look better, and he really will look better. But then when he's around pretty women that he finds attractive, he'll still be doubting himself. He'll be comparing himself to other guys in the situation. Right? That guy's taller than me. That guy's better looking than me. She must like those guys. And he'll cause himself to miss out on opportunities with women who would have wanted to be with him if he was just more confident and believed in himself and was able to trigger the woman's attraction and move things forward. Another thing that some guys try to use is dating apps. And dating apps can work if a guy is good looking and has great photos, but it's very difficult for other guys to get results due to the fact that it's mostly men on the apps. So there is way too much supply of men and little demand from women, and that causes women's standards to go way up on the app, where they start filtering for height and looks. The fastest way to get results is to just start to understand how to trigger attraction inside of women and then do it. For example, who do you think a woman is going to feel more attracted to? A guy who is insecure or a guy who is confident? Confidence is something that you can build. It's something that you can start feeling when you're around a woman. And when you feel more confident around a woman, you have a better energy, you have a better vibe, you have better eye contact, better body language, you say better things. And you just seem so much more attractive to her. She feels so much more attracted to you. Whereas if you're insecure around women that you find attractive, then you will say things that you end up regretting. You'll be like, damn it, why did I say that? That was insecure. Or you'll be making insecure eye contact with her, nervous eye contact. Your body language will be off. Your energy, your vibe will be off. And that's not going to attract a woman to you. It's going to repel her from you. But that same woman would have wanted you if you just understood how to be confident around her. And of course, it's not just about confidence. There are so many different ways that you can trigger sexual attraction inside of women. So many non-physical traits. And the more attractive non-physical traits that you can display, the more attractive you are to women. It's as simple as that. And so if a guy, for example, is able to be confident around a woman and charming, then he's going to be more attractive than a guy who's confident, but then just neutral around a woman. And you can also swap out charming for a guy who knows how to flirt with women, or a guy who can create a sexual vibe between himself and a woman. If a guy has multiple non-physical traits that trigger attraction inside of women, he's going to be more attractive to her than guys who don't have that. And in my community, for example, I help guys who have all different types of physical appearance. Some guys are good looking and tall. Some guys are average looking. Some guys are what they may refer to as below average looking, and so on. And there are guys in my community who are good looking and tall who are struggling to get results prior to understanding how to trigger attraction inside of women in the non-physical ways. For example, a guy who is good looking and tall, but when he's interacting with women, he's seeking their approval. He's not a self-approving guy. And they sense that. And unattractive women like that because the guy's tall, he's good looking, and he doesn't even know his own value. So the unattractive woman's thinking, great, I can get with this guy. But attractive women are thinking, okay, well, I don't want to be getting with that guy because I want a guy who's more confident than me. So even though he's tall and good looking, it just doesn't do the job for him. Whereas I have members in my community who are between 5'3" and 5'8" in terms of height, and the guy who's 5'3" is dating 4 different women at the same time, and 2 of them are wanting to settle down and marry him. The guy who's 5'8" slept with new women 3 nights in a row. And what's going on is that these guys, even though they are short, they are triggering attraction in women in non-physical ways. They're making the woman feel attracted, and she is feeling drawn to them. She is feeling attracted to them. And the guy also has the confidence to make a move and make something happen so he gets results. He's not a guy who's hoping that one day women are going to change and just start coming over to him and asking him out. Instead, he talks to a woman, he's able to trigger her attraction, he's confident enough to make a move, and he gets the result. Because for the most part, most guys just look at women. Right? You'll notice this if you've never noticed it before. Guys just look at women and they don't do anything about it. They are going through their life and they don't understand the secret I told you before, that most women need to be activated. So most guys are looking at women, feeling a lot of attraction, but then the women aren't reacting to them with attraction, and they're thinking, well, women don't like me. I must not be good looking enough. The guy doesn't understand that he can walk over and activate her. And once she switches on and she's feeling attracted, he has an opportunity with her. So I hope this video has been helpful for you, and if you want to learn more, keep watching more of my YouTube videos. And if you want to access my mastery level techniques that the guys in my community are using, head over to masterattraction.com. Alright, so I'll see you there or in the next video here on YouTube.